at the head of the queue after worries over his fitness, and it is a very strong Atletico Madrid lineup that have made the trip as well. Well, the minds of the more seasoned Tottenham support will go back to their glory night, their romp in Rotterdam in the Cup Winners' Cup final of 1963. This, perhaps not quite as illustrious an occasion, but an important one in the build-up to what is a campaign of huge promise for both of these sides. Can they take a stride forward domestically? Both will stride amongst Europe's elite in the Champions League this season. Atletico Madrid in their traditional colours, as I'm delighted to say. Tottenham are tonight as well. It was a bit of a strange experience watching Spurs in gold and Juventus in blue the other day. Competition, this part of the competition already won by Juventus because of their results. We will get a winner whatever happens tonight, 90 minutes, or whether we have a penalty competition at the end of it. Slightly warmer as well in Melbourne tonight than it was the other day, into double figures in Celsius, about 11 degrees. But you will see a fair few hats and scarves dotted around the stadium tonight. Well, look at the faces will tell you just how seriously, as Diego Simeone tends to do, is that Atletico are taking this prospect tonight. It's a bit more of a mix between youth and experience in the Tottenham ranks. Godin, over 100 caps. Gabby, the Atletico skipper, Christian Eriksen, leading the Spurs ranks, wasn't even named amongst the substitutes against Juventus the other day, but able to take his place on the field from the start. Hopefully get around 45 minutes under his belt, maybe a little more, we shall see. So the stage is set. Mauricio Pochettino is able to field Christian Eriksen despite concerns over a virus. Good that he hasn't come all this way for nothing. It is a team that is largely based on those who improved matters for Spurs in the second half against Juventus first time out. Substitutes do include a modicum of experience with Son, Mason, Chadley, Carroll amongst the more familiar names, but plenty of good young talent in there, especially Marcus Edwards, who really did catch the eye on night one. It is a very strong Atletico team tonight, despite quite an array of talent still on holiday or still at home. 8 of them played in the Champions League final in May. Young Hector Hernandez up front, Thiago, who was an unused sub in the San Siro, the new signing Shime Vasalco, the exceptions. A more youthful touch to the substitutes bench, although former Liverpool man Javi Manquillo is amongst them. 2 Argentinians attracting interest from their country in terms of the coaching role in the respective dugouts tonight. Diego Simeone with a touch of homage to the milk tray man in his outfit tonight. And it's Atletico who get us underway. And Josh Onoma getting an early feel of the ball. Partey conceding an early free kick. Well, he was very encouraged, and with good reason actually, particularly in the second half against Juventus. But a little concerned here about the state of Kieran Trippier.
It's Thomas Partey with the challenge. There's an impact on the foot of Trippier and an arm across the chest as well. Certainly a robust challenge from an Atletico Madrid player in the opening 10 seconds of the game.
Well, having to provide that experienced head in the back four the other night against Juventus, and also here today, really, although DeAndre Yedlin is in the side today. Two teenagers at the heart of the defence.
Doesn't look particularly promising at the moment for Kieran Trippier. You see exactly where Thomas Partey comes right down into the instep of the Tottenham defender.
I saw one, but maybe prepared to soldier on. We'll see. And it's a touch of the ball for Cameron Carter-Vickers, and Anton Waltz, who was on as a substitute against Juve but gets to start this evening. Felipe Luis. Here is Waltz. And Michel Vorm, the only senior goalkeeper on the trip, with Luke McGee and Tom Glover providing the cover. Only Juventus and Liverpool sent more players to the European Championship than Tottenham. So they do have a lot of players still in the recovery and rest business. Yedlin. Here is Wanyama. Alongside him at the heart of midfield, Harry Winks, who made quite an impression in the second period. The combative edge to proceedings and a positive edge too. And looking towards Onoma here. There's Trippier, and this is promise. Janssen. It's fair to say Janssen has pretty much already seen more of the ball in the first 3 minutes than he did in the entire first half against Juventus.
He certainly was tough for him against Juventus. He wasn't able to get a lot of service to him, not a chance to get much support to him from regarding midfield players. Tottenham moved the ball really well there, allowed to play the ball out from the back and move through into the attacking third of the pitch, and one or two players in the box for Tottenham just giving support to Vincent Janssen.
Facing quite the remorseless pressure, the two Spurs centre-backs in possession that they got against Juve. This is Lamela, and now here is Janssen. Now Wanyama showing his strength and winning a free kick against Seoul in that midfield duel. Hector Hernandez, a painful one for him.
It is, you can see clearly, rubbing his knee. Cameron Carter-Vickers there with another hefty challenge.
Well, sharpen the edge a bit. Towards Yedlin, and now Wanyama for Tottenham. Janssen spreading it here for Trippier. Touch from Eric Lamela, scored a very tidily taken goal against Juventus. Wanyama inspirational in the build-up to it. It's Gabby. Saul making progress and earning a first corner of the night for Atletico.
First time really that Atletico Madrid have been able to move the ball about. Saul is a promising talent. He's emerged. He's improved himself at the top level now. Sensational goal in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. Really brought him to the attention of a lot of people, and not long now till he's a feature in the national team.
Gabby's away, swinger. potential for problems. And, by hook or by crook, Tottenham are able to see it away.
There's no surprise to see Diego Godin get the first header of the ball in a packed penalty box. Savic would have knocked down as well.
Oh, and Fernando Torres steaming in. Well, some early encouraging signs from the set plays for Atletico.
I think this is a good chance for Fernando Torres. Gets away from his marker, should do better there. Should be able to keep the ball underneath the crossbar. Should be making the goalkeeper work.
Certainly an opportunity for a man of his calibre, but Janssen hoping to fashion one for himself here. Now Eriksen. Whoa. Well, it certainly seemed to deceive Oblak. Able somehow to get it to safety.
Good centre-forward play from Janssen, holds the ball up well under pressure. Moves the ball to his left, and Eriksen every right, and encouraged to shoot. Atletico Madrid players slow out to get to close him down.
Fired with venom over the top by Harry Winks. An interesting one for Oblak, that. I'm not sure whether it took a deflection. Let's see.
It just bounces in front of him, which causes him the problem, isn't it? Slight movement left to right.
Partey. Felipe Luis. He's got an Oma with him. Partey, the Ghanaian, came on as a substitute in the Champions League final. Gabi. Sako just cut inside. So Atletico move breaks down. He's had a few interesting things to say, hasn't he, about his desire at some point to coach in England and Italy, and also some intriguing comments about it being possible to combine the club job with the national team job maybe in the future. Argentina in the process of finding a new head coach in the wake of the Copa America.
It's no surprise, is it, that two managers tonight featured regarding the speculation about that job. Two former teammates, two coaches who have done smashing jobs at their respective clubs in recent seasons. A little bit of doubt over whether Simeone was going to continue at Atletico after the heartbreaking defeat again against Real Madrid in the Champions League final.
Here's an Oma, and now Trippier. Harry Winks. Lamela. Wanyama stretching. Eriksen. Now Yedlin. Can certainly shift Yedlin. The challenge from Versalco had to be right.
Good incisive run from the Yedlin. Difficult to break Atletico down when they get bodies back behind the ball. They have a terrific defensive shape. Statistically the best defence in Europe, but that's exactly what Tottenham need. Someone change of pace.
It's Eriksen's delivery. Defended with conviction here, and they may pay the price. It's Onoma whose shot rattles the crossbar.
Some really good moments for Tottenham in the opening minutes of this game, and this almost resulted in the opening goal of the game. Eriksen's been unlucky with an attempt that Oblak somehow saved, and Josh Onoma here with a really good volley. Janssen on hand as well. Crashes back off the crossbar.
I'm sure the crossbar still reverberating from that one. Vincent Janssen in close attendance as well. Certainly shown much more positive signs of being able to get the Dutchman involved. He was a bit of a peripheral figure for the most part against Juve. Here's Lamela trying to make progress, and now Janssen. Yedlin. Winks. Trippier. It's Carter Vickers. It's Walks. Played at full back against Juve when he came on. Fitted from Partey. Lamela. Wanyama. Yedlin. Eriksson. Yedlin. Eriksson. Lamela. Wanyama. Trippier. Atletico very wary of the quality of delivery that Trippier possesses. Partey swiftly in attendance. Carter Vickers already enjoying his night a little more. Represents the United States at international level, born in Southend in Essex. Father, a much-travelled basketball player in his pomp.
Tottenham should be encouraged by the start they made in this game. Certainly in comparison to the similar opening to Juventus. See the progress being made by the Tottenham players after having played that game, another level of fitness.
It was intriguing, the difference between the two teams. As we're going to have a look at the Onoma effort again.
I think we see the different stages of preparation, don't we? The Atletico Madrid have just played the one pre-season game so far. Tottenham have played Juventus.
Yeah, they've also had a few on training ground friendlies, haven't they, as well? And 3 matches before they headed out. It's got a tasty-looking tie against Inter. I mean, got this game and that one that recall some rather memorable European nights in Tottenham's history. Winks. His appearances in the first team have tended to be cameo roles on European nights. Perhaps a less illustrious flavour. Caught the eye in the second half with his approach against Juve. Felipe Luis. Salco getting involved, Torres jousting for it, so all is in there. Wanyama will come away unruffled. Onoma. Here's Eriksson. He's just checking to see if everyone was okay behind him, I think. Pondering whether to put the ball out. Find Onoma. Interesting choice of ball from Vasalco. Torres. Janssen. Partey.
It's good shape to Tottenham's team. They're well aware of who they're playing against, what type of team they're up against. Out possession. Tottenham are getting back behind the ball. Looking nice and solid in midfield, where you can easily get outnumbered by the Atletico Madrid quartet. It hasn't been the case so far.
It's cut out by Yedlin, and here's Eriksen. Certainly in the mood, looking for Eric Lamela. Picked up a position not too dissimilar from where he scored the other day. Here's Torres testing Anton Walks.
Good turn of pace from Fernando Torres, and excellent movement. Deceives the young central defender with his movement prior to receiving the pass. You can see his intention there is to try and lob over Michel Vaughan, as the goalkeeper's making his way out, just can't execute the skill in the way that he would like.
Back at the club that is in his heart, Fernando Torres. Eriksen looking lively. Certainly putting plenty into this. What may just be a half of football, maybe more, we'll see. Lamela's foul.
Godin, I think, waiting for the challenge from Lamela. Under pressure there, Diego Godin. Tottenham doing the right thing, pressing the Atletico Madrid defender.
Argentina-Uruguay confrontation there, which is never quite one. Face each other in the first batch of World Cup qualifiers this season as well, don't they? September the 1st for that one. Felipe Luis. Partey. It's cut out there by Trippier. Wanyama.
No space for Atletico Madrid to play when they get possession of the ball. Maybe the option is the longer pass to Fernando Torres to try to run in the channels and run in behind, get his team up the pitch.
Here's Yedlin. Eriksen. Foot in there from Torres. Will break for Eriksen. Lamela. Eriksen again. Tottenham seeing so much more of the ball today. Janssen. Trippier. Winks. Cut out on that occasion by Hector Hernandez, young striker alongside Fernando Torres tonight. He was out on loan at Elche last season. Trippier. Wanyama. Touch from Janssen. That's too much of Eriksen in the end. Trippier.
It's only 20 minutes gone, Daniel, but Pochettino a bit delighted with the way that his team are playing. Fitness levels look good. They look a lot sharper than they did against Juventus. Because they have a player in Vincent Janssen they can trust to hold the ball up and get the ball into, and they trust him in terms of holding it up. It means they have more faith in making runs forward to join up in support.
Very much Janssen's strong point. Plenty of goals, the youngest to get 25 in the Eredivisie since the Brazilian Ronaldo back in 94-95, his PSV days. Hector Hernandez up there. Cameron Carter-Vickers will pick it off. This is Wanyama. always an imposing figure. Whether he will be able to fully impose himself as a Tottenham first-team player remains to be seen, doesn't it? Because there's very healthy competition in that area of the field.
Yeah, I think what Tottenham needed last season was that they had a really strong 13 or 14 players, but I think when they were forced to make changes, maybe the tier below the starting 11 wasn't as strong as Pochettino would have liked. Something was a case of getting away for a whole season with just Harry Kane, who's predominantly the main striker, and not picking up injuries and maintaining a fantastic goal-scoring record right throughout the season. And they should be full of hope, Tottenham. They were the main challengers to Leicester. I know they finished eventually in third position, but they were the only team that really put up a fight to challenge Leicester. And Pochettino is slowly but surely performing really well at Tottenham Hotspur, and one or two more additions maybe to the squad before the season starts, and I think they're in really good shape.
Lamela hoping to seize on this, and he has done. Oh, and it came back off the post with Oblak completely bewildered.
And their performance so far merits a goal, doesn't it? He just pops in between defence and midfield there, Lamela. A little give and go again with the reliable Janssen. Difficult for him to get away his shot under pressure from Felipe. Connects really well on Oblak. Again, lucky on this occasion to see it rebound off the post. Twice now, Tottenham hit the frame of the goal.
There's been an intensity about Lamela. Maybe a man who's maybe feeling that he needs to impose himself in this pre-season to make sure that he has a real future at Tottenham, perhaps.
Well, I think his future was in doubt, but I thought he performed well enough last season to suggest that he's one of those players that's taken a little bit longer to settle into Premier League football. I certainly think he could go on to be a really important player for Tottenham Hotspur still only 24 years of age.
11 goals last season. I suppose it's one of those things that we say about players in kind of positions. Sometimes the consistency isn't always there, but it was a more than healthy return for him last year. And here is Lamela again. Referee happy to let play continue. Josh Onoma. Might be seeing more of him this season. 4 starts last time around. Onoma, one of those who's already played in. As Torres earns a free kick. Involved in the under-19 European Championships with AD Boothroyd's England, got to the semi-finals.
I think it's fair to say he's not best pleased with the challenge of Carter Vickers from behind. It's a late challenge, and one of a young player trying to make his way in the game and impress his coach. Certainly didn't impress Fernando Torres.
Well, he's got some power about him as Carter Vickers, a teenage shot put thrower at national level. He decided not to try and become the new Jeff Capes and focused on the football.
It's a great experience for him, isn't it? 18, teenager, alongside the #1 Anton Walks. And Harry Winks, just 20 years of age, up against the likes of Gabby and Thiago and Fernando Torres and Saul. Benefits of pre-season games where young players can get opportunities and hope that it does help them make that breakthrough into becoming more in the manager's thoughts when the real stuff begins.
Tottenham 3 wise men there, Jesus Perez and Miguel D'Agostino, alongside Mauricio Pochettino, will be only unhappy about the fact that they haven't produced tangible reward for what's been a very good performance. But there's always danger lurking, although Fernando Torres couldn't get that under his spell. Star fallen somewhat since those heady days at Liverpool, but one season with Chelsea, he got 22 goals, which he only bettered once during his time at Anfield.
It's been amazing, the turnaround, even at Atletico Madrid. A lot of people think he had a fantastic season last year. It really was the last 3 months of the season where he was able to get regular first-team football, force his way into the starting 11, by the end of the season become a really important player for Atletico. Many managed to secure him on for a longer period of time now. Of course, with Anton Griezmann, who's going to be back, and they're in the market for another big money centre forward. Who that is yet remains to be seen. He's a good player to have around the club. He mentioned it's a club that's in his heart. The supporters idolise him. The manager's certainly getting the best out of him now.
His grandfather indoctrinated him in the Atletico cause, didn't he, when he was a little boy? Safe to say that's not what he was looking for. Get the eye in, Versalco. He's been a very impressive performer in Italian football with Sassuolo, who have written a most remarkable fairy tale, haven't they, in recent years, qualifying for Europe, courtesy of Juve's cup win last season. Got that extra place because Juve did the double. They can't actually play in their own stadium because it's far too small for Serie A football. Here's an opportunity, and Walks will sweep it away. Winks. Felipe Luis. Given away to Lamela. Winks. Now here's Trippier. Carter Vickers. Trying to turn inside. Torres. Felipe Luis. Anton Walks safely back. Got a few strings to his bow, Walks, which we've already seen on this trip, actually, playing at full-back and centre-back. Torres looking for Partey, held off there by Carter Vickers.
Slightly better spell from Atletico, just in terms of raising the tempo. Tottenham have been dominating in midfield. And Yama and Harry Winks have been mopping up things in their central midfield area, been giving good support from Noma and Lamela in wider positions. Eriksson dropping in. Good shape about them, Tottenham. That might have been by accident. No, it's a pre-season friendly, but I'm sure Pochettino knows exactly how Atletico Madrid operate in midfield, with a narrow midfield before, not a lot of width. It's important you don't get outnumbered in that central midfield area, and at the moment Tottenham are dominant in that area.
It's interesting, if Felipe Luis getting a touch on that, it's interesting. You know, Atletico obviously start their season proper, if you like, a week later than Tottenham. Juventus were further back in their preparations theoretically, yet looked so much sharper early on in the first game. You always have players at different kinds of levels, because even within the Atletico squad that started this pre-season, you've had players who've come back from the European Championship. Juan Fran and Koke played the other day against Numancia, yet they're not in. So it's very difficult to get a uniform level.
It certainly is, and also we've had a summer of the
Copa America as well. Yeah,
we never know exactly what the teams are doing, how the coaches work in the preparations for these games. Do they taper off training to allow the players to be a little bit fresher and sharper for the matches, or in a lot of cases it's just carrying on with the same routine, really heavy training session. Can't waste too much time. It's such a compact period of time now, a lot shorter than it used to be. Summer football for the European Championships, the Copa America, starting the Premier League campaign the weekend of the 14th to 21st in Spain. So you have to make sure you get the training in as well as the games.
A little set-piece flurry.
Something they work really hard on, Atletico Madrid. You see them changing the angle of the delivery into the box. And again, it's Godin with the header. This time there was an offside flag raised by the assistant referee.
Over 100 caps now for Uruguay. Diego Godin seems to have been around for a long, long time. One of the team in South Africa that reached the semi-finals of the World Cup. Savic, cut out by Wanyama. Thiago leaving it. Here is Stefan Savic. And Godin. Filipe Luis. Anton walks there again. What a fabulous opportunity this is for someone like Anton Walks to come up against one of the foremost strikers of recent years in Fernando Torres.
Certainly an opportunity for him to impress Pochettino, but also I'm sure there are a number of managers in the Championship, Division 1, that will be looking at an 18-year-old and 19-year-old central defender with a possibility of a loan move. The better he plays in this match, the possibility of a better loan move. So far, the two teenage defenders look athletic, strong. They look like they know their positions when it's in terms of defending. They have a good relationship with the two fullbacks.
The learning curve for them during this tournament will be extraordinary, though, won't it?
Oh, compared to playing youth team football and Premier League Academy under 21 football, it's totally different. As you mentioned, 7 of this Atletico Madrid team started the Champions League final against Real Madrid. There's one of the players that didn't start, but it cost over £13 million from Sassuolo.
Captain his country as well, Vasalko, Croatian. And his prime still very much ahead of him. Here's Yedlin. Another looking to impose himself and perform on either side of the back line. Onoma. Jan Oblak. Walks with Hector Hernandez to joust with this time. Harry Winks. I suppose another factor is the international game that we have now. It's good to see boys from Hemel Hempstead and the Southend featuring prominently in a Tottenham team.
Certainly Pochettino has shown throughout his career, when he was manager at Espanyol, manager of Southampton, their manager of Tottenham Hotspur, that he's more than willing to give the young talent at the clubs that he's coached an opportunity. At Espanyol it was a necessity because he's constantly selling his best players. Certainly, I think he took the positives from that. It was always difficult for him at Espanyol, but there's some of the young players really did a good job for him in difficult circumstances, and I think he's a real believer in giving young players who come through the system a chance.
I don't know, cynically, maybe they're a little keener to have the legs run off them in training as well.
Well, it could be argued he's starting to play where it's pressing high up the pitch and demands that you have fitness levels. You can maintain those fitness levels for 90 minutes, and go as far yet to say it's a young man's game, but certainly do need a little bit of youth in the team to go ahead with those tactics.
Away by Carter Vickers. Wanyama just breezing away from the initial challenge of Thiago there, but one back swiftly. Partey. Partey. Saul. Eye of a needle stuff. Lamela. Now Janssen.
Good attitude by Janssen, gave away possession, but was willing to chase back to try and make up for his error.
It's going to be an interesting challenge for him. Maybe tries to combine with Lamela there, but it was Stefan Savic who stepped in for Atletico.
He certainly worked hard and would have enjoyed his game tonight a lot more than the challenge that he faced against Juventus.
We're all assuming that he's been signed as a deputy for Harry Kane. Whether there's a case that he's not looked at it yet here, but at the potential of playing them together maybe in some circumstances.
It certainly will be an option. And Janssen will believe that he'll be there to compete with Harry Kane. Another fantastic season for Tottenham, led the line tremendously well.
Luiz's ball.
Another young player as well. Tottenham have a few of those.
Partey. Swept away by Trippier. It's Thiago. Here's Godin. And now Felipe Luis. Saul. An established player, but still a young one. Not getting much change out of Yedlin there.
Slowly but surely, Vaselko is just coming to terms with what his job is at Atletico Madrid. He talks about that narrow midfield four.
Felipe Luis's ball. Torres at the back.
And it's really important the fullbacks do push forward and give the attacking width. On that occasion, both the Atletico fullbacks in attacking positions. One friend does it really well for Atletico, Vaselko. Slowly but surely come to terms with what's expected.
Well, Partey thought he got away from Winks, who pointed perhaps more in hope than expectation at the ball. Let's see just how much of it he got.
Very little, if any.
As is usually the case, let's be honest. Well, Gabi and Saul poised. Chambon was kept honest by Paulo Dybala on a couple of occasions against Juve. One notable save.
Has to be switched on against Atletico. It appears that it's going to be a straightforward attempt at goal. They do come up with something unusual now and then.
Something different. Gabi playing it in, and it's touched in. Diego Godin with a look at the flag, which did not go up, and Atletico have the lead. Well, he has a habit of popping up at set pieces, and the opportunity fell his way. And for all Tottenham's positives in their performance in this first half, they are behind.
half expected it. You see Diego Godin and Savic go into the box, and everyone expecting a direct attempt at goal. You know exactly why the two central defenders are in there. You know why Diego Godin is in there. Now the header comes off the Tottenham player, hence why Godin is not in an offside position. You can see there, it just comes off Anton Walks. Godin flashes it past to Michel Vorm. There's the deflection. Godin always looked surprised that he was onside, doesn't he? Obviously, in a split second, wasn't sure who the ball came off of. If there's just going to be a direct attempt on goal, then Godin wouldn't be in the penalty area, and nor would Savic. So I kind of expected something a little bit different there from Atletico, just the clip into the box rather than the direct attempt at goal. And certainly against the run of play, against the form that was being shown by Tottenham Hotspur. It wouldn't be the first time we've said that about Atletico Madrid, though.
Well, here's another opportunity. And Cameron Carter-Vickers managing to get the challenge in to frustrate Hector Hernandez, but he just crept out of play.
Again, sharp play, good link-up play between Torres and Hector and Hernandez. We're talking about young players, a 20-year-old getting a chance with to playing Simeone's first team. The ball does just go behind for the corner.
It's a couple of years since Hernandez has had a taste in the first team, and that briefly against Rayo Vallecano. Partey! Well, the venom was there, the accuracy was not.
It's been an unusual performance, which we can understand from Simeone's team. It'll be the first time they've been against the run of play, found themselves a goal to the good. But they have given up a few chances tonight. Tottenham have struck the frame of the goal on a couple of occasions. Black was fortunate with a save against Christian Eriksen. But they're a team who do realise the importance of set pieces. And a threat from corners, they've scored from a free kick. Not afraid frustrate Pochettino, who's believe that his team should be ahead going into half-time.
Winks. Saul picking it up. Felipe Luis. Can't get the better of Winks, who is determined to retrieve the situation. There's Godin, the Atletico goal scorer. Stefan Savic. Remains to be seen just what we see re-emerge for the second half, and whether this Tottenham 11 will be able to re-establish the momentum which they sustained for a good part of this first period. Let me tell you, at this point in pre-season is usually the moment all commentators fear. But
we wouldn't have it any different then.
No, we wouldn't.
Well, I must admit, it is a relief when the league season starts and just the 3 subs are allowed.
Partey stretching. Well, I do have... it still gives me nightmares, actually, a pre-season match between Milan and Lyon some years ago, where both teams changed their entire 11 at half-time and then made about 6 further substitutions in the second half. We're going to have a minute of added time. And on that occasion, Lyon actually flew in most of a French youth team that had won a European Championship elsewhere in Europe the night before just for that game. So we had a different Lyon squad as well for the second game of the tournament. That's hard life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Torres. Winks. Godin. Salico. That's a better one. Carter Vickers on the stretch. Hector Hernandez retrieving. This is Felipe Luis. Saul. Thiago. And Felipe Luis dig it out. Trippier in the way, and that's the last act of the first 45 minutes here at the MCG. Tottenham had opportunities, hit the crossbar, hit the post, but Atletico punished them from a set piece. Diego Godin's goal, and they lead at the break by 1-0.
So a frustrating first half for Tottenham Hotspur after a very encouraging